gift from God to you to share with love and care. Don't you dare to think it's your own.
Hello. This has been a great weekend. I came to Dallas, Texas, and for the Umoja prayer line conference, and I had an opportunity to share with some youth, and also to do a workshop on worship. And I just want to give you a little snippet, just something to to go and use it if you wish. But it's just a little summary. I talked to the young people about the power and the discipline of commitment. We live in a time whereby commitment is getting lesser, and even marriages and adults and workplaces, just commitment is becoming a big deal. People are flaking more, and it's frustrating, but it's also detrimental to just growth. And I just laid out, from the book of Proverbs 16, verse 3, commit your ways or commit your works to the Lord, and He'll establish your plans. And I was just sharing that, how to develop that discipline of commitment is by becoming good personal stewards of our resources, of our life, of our energy and time, and that we are self-governments. We are basically walking companies or corporations, and therefore we have to manage, because that's the meaning of stewardship, to manage, to supervise, to control, and make sure that everything works around the order that we have set. And then also we develop commitment by growing in the area of personal responsibility, because if you are not responsible, then you are irresponsible, and that makes you a liability to yourself, to your family, to your community, to your country as a whole. And the last thing is that you develop that discipline of commitment by being accountable. So that's just a little bit of what we were talking about. There's a lot, And then finally, I got to use the story of Samson, who was so gifted, called by God, and had tremendous power and gifts. But he had a lot of contradictions in his life. He made whole lot of mistakes, whole lot of foolish choices, and commitment is also about choices, really. And that brought him to a bad ending. But the lesson that we learned from Samson is that he came back to God. He really committed back to God, and God gave him the strength one more time just to fulfill the purpose that he was intended to fulfill. And then I was so glad that two of them got to receive Jesus as their Lord and Savior. They committed their lives to Jesus. And if you've not committed your life to Jesus, I challenge you, pray the prayer that, Lord, come into my life, make me your son, make me your daughter. I give you my life, I give you my heart, and that's all it takes, and faith and discipleship and growing. And then the second workshop was with those who wanted to learn about praise and worship. And simply put, I think I received a challenge that I ought to write a book. So pray for me. But just the gist of it is that, the workshop title was The Importance of Worship in Your Prayer Life. And just a little bit, we talked about the fact that worship, by order of precedence, worship was there before prayers, and worship will always be there after we get to heaven. So that in itself sets it apart to be an important aspect. Anyway, God bless you. I gotta go.